forward, young Muslims, wherever you are, in the shadow of the sun or by the light of a star. Your supreme protector is Almighty Allah. Go forward, young Muslims, wherever you are. Go forward, young Muslims, whoever you are. Press forward and forward to the light of Allah, and repeat, Alhamdulillah. Go forward, young Muslims, whoever you are.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to our program, Teens and Parents. I am your host, Bilal Abdul Kareem, and we are discussing the topic, is the Quran and Sunnah relevant to today's issues? Well, we have been discussing some of the major problems that are plaguing and facing people today. Not only Muslim people, non-Muslim people. But the key thing about Muslims is that we have an understanding from the Quran and from the Sunnah how to deal with some of these issues. For example, we discussed about alcohol. Now, we have a statistic wherein alcohol is the root cause or has some involvement in 40% of the crimes committed in the United Kingdom. That's a big number. Because if you could remove the alcohol from the equation, maybe it goes down 20%, 30%. Now, it gets better than that. We moved on. Everybody's familiar with the problems related to sexual activity, AIDS, other sexually transmitted diseases, unwanted teen pregnancies or unwanted pregnancies just in general, fatherless children. Well, we discussed what the Islamic say is pertaining to that. Now we're going to move into another topic. Money. Everybody's got to have some money. Some people have some people have none. But we're going to open it up now to discuss this particular topic with our new guest. And he is Fadi Mutawalli, and I would like to greet you with Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Okay, now here we are, we're discussing finance and money. Everybody wants to have some money, right? I'd like to have some money. I'd like to buy a new car, actually. You know, I'd like to buy a new house. I'd like to buy 2 new houses. Why not? You know, 2's better than 1. But the key thing here is, how do you get the money to finance the things that you want? Okay, we know that riba has been forbidden from you. Okay.
Actually, when I was in England, who has friend, he is non-Muslim, he's English. I remember his name is Roja. Roja, he liked shopping too much. And he used to have a credit card. And all the time, buy anything he likes, he just buy. And he come to the stages, he cannot pay his debts at all. And he was really in deep trouble. And then he came to us. We used to, try to give him dawah about Islam. And then just once he just came and said, guys, in Islam, do you have any solution to my problem now? Honestly. Okay, it was me and another 2 friends, Muslims. And then we said to him, yes, riba is forbidden in Islam. And explained to him what's riba and stuff like that. I said, okay, look, now we're going to lend you the money, which he offers this credit card. And perhaps have to do 2 conditions. Number 1, you're going to have to pay us as soon as you get your wages. Little bit, we'll leave you enough to live with, not to buying, again shopping. And we're going to, the same money you borrowed from us, we want the same. We don't want 1 penny more. And he done that. And eventually, he just pay all his, debts to the credit card. And wallahi, he made the credit card like this, he cut it off. And now he was living normal life. That is actually proven to him that Islam, he has a right, for stopping riba.
Fadi, when you got out of school or first finished school, did they offer you a credit card?
They always do, yeah, they offer you a credit card. But I think what the brother's trying to also say is, like, in Islam, the concept of having money, or like the concept of making money, just because you have money, that's forbidden in Islam. If you want to make money, you have to work for it. So actually what those people or those institutes do is, like, they lend you the money, and they know you need it. So, like, say for instance, tomorrow you can buy a new car, and all you have to do is, like, pay like 2% of it next month. But actually those 2% is just the interest rate on the actual price of the car. So you're actually like gaining something in the beginning, but on the long run you're losing more. And when I was in the States, like I used to meet like non-Muslim friends of mine, and then they would always complain about their mortgage. They can't pay their mortgage, you know, all the time. Like they have to pay this house, like certain payments every month. And then like when they come think about it, they actually paid over 20 years, the actual amount of the house like 4 or 5 times. So the guy just by himself, he said, I think this is usury. They're using me, which is exactly like one of the way to translate riba in English is like usury, you know. SubhanAllah.
I think we should make it clear for the audience, maybe some of these terms, riba, usury. For example, then there are different forms of it, but we're trying to make it easy so that the people can understand. For example, if I say to you, okay, Fadi, you want to borrow $10 from me, give me back 12. If you want to borrow something, give me back something more than what I put in. Now, keeping in mind, I did not get into a business venture with you. So you say that you want to open up a Yasser clothing store, okay? I sit there, I say, okay, sounds like a good idea. I'll lend you the money. But if you sell one outfit or you sell 1,000 outfits, you have to have my money, you see? So I've taken no responsibility. I've taken no risk with you. Yet I'm going to make money, but I've taken no risk. So this is forbidden in Islam. But now I'd like to go back because you went to school in Canada, is that correct?
No, I went to high school in the States.
Okay, in the States.
Yeah, Florida.
Okay, I know how it was for me. As soon as I finished school, right away, credit card, credit card, credit card. And we have this concept inside of us that once we have gone to store, given him the credit card or cash or whatever it is, and I walk out with the bag and the items, it's paid. It's paid for.
It's not.
But it's not.
Yes.
And you, whatever you purchase, you're going to pay extra money for it. Okay, so my question to you both again, is the Quran and Sunnah relevant to today's issues?
It is, because it tells you not to perform such activities or not to buy such like use credit cards or riba or whatever when purchasing the things you need. So like the brother said, like it's way much easier if you just like lend them money or lend a brother money or borrow it from someone, you know, and pay him off like whenever you can. And that's what actually we do in the Muslim world, like most of the time, you know. It's what they call bay' bil ajal, like you can sell it, but you take not interest rates, but sort of payments, and the payments are kind of increased. Like if you say, for instance, a friend of mine, like he wants to buy something from me for like £100, and he's making like 12 payments per month, so I could charge him like £12 per month, which is like a total of 120 at the end of the year. And this is not riba, because what am I doing is actually like taking the difference of the inflation rate throughout that 1 year. So I'm not like losing, and I'm not using him because his need for whatever he wants, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Actually, a friend of mine told me a very, very nice, interesting story. He used to live in America, and he used to live in a neighborhood, a lot of doctors over there, and they have a good salary, and they are Muslims, all of them. I think they're from Pakistan. And they said, okay, we don't want to do riba, but to have roof over our head is something important. And what are we going to do with the mortgage stuff? So they sit down together, and they said, okay, 10 of them said, okay, for 2 years, every month, each one of us will pay $10,000, and one of us will have it. Okay? In the end of the 2 years, all of them, they have them houses without paying riba. Mm-hmm. Do you know exactly what is done? Mm-hmm. You know? So that is very good things. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helped them. So riba is not the way. Okay? Because when you're sincere to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you want to do the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah will open ways for you. Okay?
But also concerning the sunnah, if someone is poor and he doesn't have the ability to pay such payments, we always have zakah, which is a great solution. You know, in the States, like there's a lot of food thrown away, and there's a lot of homeless people in the richest country in the world, you know. So imagine if instead of paying like these really high taxes up to 40% on each dollar, like, you know, if they were paying zakah, which is a Muslim solution, there wouldn't be so many homeless people in the streets.
I mean, some young person may be feeling hesitant, not certain. Is the Quran and Sunnah relevant to today's problems? And you can see that it is, and it addresses all of these problems that maybe you might think that these are new issues, new problems, or so on and so forth, that, the Quran really doesn't address that. Listen, we're going to get ready to take a break. But when we do come back, we're going to discuss cigarettes. Cigarettes cost millions of dollars on each and every government every year to have to care for the citizens of the country. Even I read one statistic in Egypt, there are so many hundreds of millions of Egyptian pounds that cost the government to take care of the people who have become ill off of cigarette smoking. Why they haven't banned it or why they don't ban it, I think, is something that really has to be reviewed. We're going to come right back and we're going to discuss this. Teens and parents, stay tuned.
Forward, young Muslims, wherever you are, in the shadow of the sun or by the light of a star.
The true life of the Muslim starts at death. If you wish to enhance your knowledge of the Islamic perspective on the hereafter, this life doesn't go on forever, but we do so little to prepare for it because most of us don't know what happens after this life ends. If you want to be amongst those who know, then join us every Saturday at 1930 GMT for the inevitable journey.
Forward, young Muslims, wherever you are, in the shadow of the sun or by the light of a star.
Okay, welcome back. Here we are, teens and parents. I am your host, Bilal Abdul Kareem, and we are here with our two guests. We have Yasser Al-Jindi, and we also have our other guest, Fadi Mutawalli. And I'm glad to have both of you here, and we're going to continue. Now, we're talking about another one of the issues that are plaguing our society here today, which is cigarette smoking. Unfortunately, so many of our young people fall into this trap. So many. I remember when I was, even myself when I was young, and I really hope my mother doesn't watch this particular episode. But Mom, you tried. You gave it your best shot. When I was young, always we would watch these TV programs. The cool person had the cigarette hanging from his mouth or had a cigarette here behind his ear. So even my mother used to smoke, but she would tell us don't smoke. That went in one ear and right out the other. Okay. At the high school, some people, if you had it in a designated area, you could smoke. So there I was, 17 years old, and all I could think about was having a cigarette. Boy, it looked cool to me. So I went out and I bought a pack of cigarettes. And I came home, lit the cigarette up, and stood in front of the mirror. And I had it here, and I took a puff of the cigarette, and I looked in the mirror to see how cool I really looked. I thought I looked pretty cool, to be honest with you. But the smoke, the smell, and everything, it didn't work for me. Alhamdulillah, I didn't continue to smoke cigarettes. But this is something that, number one, in Islam, we are ordered not to waste our money, to throw our money in the garbage. But not only that, but to throw our money towards something that's actually harming us. Now, I want to first direct this to Yasser, because unfortunately, in a lot of the Middle Eastern countries, smoking is on a much higher level than it is in the West.
That's true. That's true. I don't remember actually the statistics, but, Arab country, the smokes say about twice like Western society. Egyptian smoke most of all the Arab country. And subhanallah, even it's forbidden in Islam. And maybe someone says, show me which ayah, what's hadith saying that smoking is forbidden. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم حلت لكم الطيبات وحرمت عليكم الخبائث. Everything is good, you're allowed to have it. Everything is bad or harmful, you're not allowed to have it. It's forbidden for you. And if you want to say, put the cigarette, classify, is good or bad, of course it's going to go among the bad thing. And as you mentioned before, I think because we always see in the TV that is a cool person, smoking a cigarette. Or a person if he in trouble or he need to think he has to smoke a cigarette. All these wrong things being, try to put it into our head, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, أَلَا بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ تَطْمَئِنَّ الْقُلُوبِ. If you have a problem, just start to make zikr, mention Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then you'll be fine. You don't have to smoke cigarette or whatsoever.
And I think that that point needs to be reiterated, because some people feel that they need that crutch. They wake up in the morning and it's just like, oh, I can't get the day started without having a cigarette. It's 6:30 in the morning. Now, I mean, Jesse made mention that, that which is harmful is totally, is forbidden for you. Is there any good effect from a cigarette?
Not at all. I think nicotine addiction is one of the worst addictions, even worse than drugs itself. That's I've heard this before from like a reliable source, and those people you're talking about, they wake up every morning, they need that cigarette just because they've been used to it for so many years. And like the brother said, in certain countries, they believe that the way to relieve the stress is by smoking more and more cigarettes, which is not true. And another ayah in the Quran which states that we should not actually smoke is وَلَا تَقْتُلُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ. We shouldn't kill ourselves. And it has been proven, it's a proven fact now, and this is what's going on with the lawsuits nowadays, how they lost it against the tobacco companies and that sort of thing, is that the incidence of lung cancer has increased like in the last decade more and more than before. Like in the 60s, people used to smoke and they never felt the side effects. But what I think is going on each day, like nowadays, is that each company is putting its own toxic like material into the cigarette, so you'd be addicted to that own flavor. It's like just like for economical benefits,
Mm-hmm.
And it's really sad, like how many people are dying from cancer, from lung cancer especially, who are smokers every day,
For our young people, a teenager with health, youth, and vigor, and then to throw it away, because what happens to you? Let me ask you another question. For our young viewers who may be watching, give us an indication of what they are looking forward towards physically after 15 years of a pack a day smoking.
Actually, there's a study that states that, the pollution in the world is different from developing countries and developed countries. They say that in certain developed countries where the pollution is higher because of the industries and stuff like that, it actually depends from which country to another. Like certain undeveloped countries, the pollution is really high also. So they've compared the lungs of a person who's a non-smoker in a country where the pollution is not so bad to the lungs from a person in a country where the pollution is really bad. And they realized that the non-smoker in the polluted country has the same lungs of another person who's smoking 4 cigarettes a day.
Mm.
4
cigarettes?
4 cigarettes a day. So imagine if this person in the polluted country is smoking cigarettes on top of the pollution he's living in. So it's like...
what about a pack a day?
That's like definitely like a 60 or 70% chance death in 10 to 20 years. And doctors always ask, like the first question, like, are you diabetic? Do you smoke? And how many packs per day, Well, what I'm trying to to answer your question, I think kids nowadays, they don't really think about that because they're just 15 and they're young, or they still have healthy lungs. All they aim for is just I want to be, when you're a teenager, you always want to grow older. So they really think the minute they smoke, like if a 14-year-old is smoking, he definitely thinks he's cooler than a 16-year-old who's a non-smoker. It's just like the image, with all the pressure and high school and stuff like that. When you smoke, you act like definitely everybody's going to look at you as if you're cool. But they're misguided, of course.
Okay, okay. Let's try to make a theory, okay? Say, for example, family, religious family, and they brought them children according to Islam, and from the day one, they order them to follow the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the parents act as well, acting Islam. For example, some parents, they say to the children, don't smoke, but the father smoke. Of course, as you mentioned before, go from here, go from the other ear. But these families really practice Islam. What's going to happen for them kids? They will be healthy, they will never touch a cigarette, okay? They will have money, okay? And they will grow up, and when they are mature enough to know what's right from wrong, they will, they come to the stage they will never touch a cigarette. Because I asked a lot of people who's smoking cigarette. They said to me, now it's difficult for me, to stop smoking.
It's
quit.
physical. It's
Yes.
a physical addiction.
Yes.
now.
If I know this when I was young, I will never touch it. So subhanAllah, Islam is protect even teens from that. When they are not mature enough to have the right decision by themselves, and if they follow Islam, they will be safe. Okay? And as well with the money as well. I know someone, he used to smoke 2 packets of cigarettes a day. It was Marlboro one.
And how many cigarettes come in a pack, approximately?
I think 20.
20 cigarettes.
20,
yeah.
That's 40 cigarettes.
40 cigarettes. And we went to one of the scholars and we talked to him. We said to him, do you perform Hajj? I said, no, I don't have the money. I said to him, okay, I want you to stop smoking cigarettes. And I want to see after how many years you'll be able to do Hajj. And subhanAllah, as if this was like the light for the person. And he stopped smoking, he quit smoking cigarettes. And every day, he put aside the price for these 2 packets of cigarette. In 5 years, he went to Hajj.
MashaAllah.
Wallahi, it's, honestly, it's so sorry. In 5 years, he went to Hajj.
I mean,
SubhanAllah.
now we're going back again to keep us focused, just as you make a mention. Is the Quran and Sunnah relevant to today's issues, today's problems that are plaguing the parents and the teens? Now, we've discussed some of the main problems that are, plaguing our societies, from drugs, sexual problems, finance, usury, cigarettes, and everything. And we showed that there is a place and a mention for all of these things in the Quran and in the Sunnah. So, just as you said, that if you were to just follow, even if you maybe say that, I don't see the wisdom in certain thing that maybe Allah has stated, just follow it. Because inshallah, if Allah grants to you, you will see it. Just as that person who says, if I would have known then what I know now, I never would have started smoking. But if you know now that Allah knows and you do not know, then there's no need to begin. I want to thank you, brothers. We're going to have to close out this particular session. And inshallah ta'ala, we hope that you got some benefit from watching our program of Teens and Parents. Jazakumullahu khaira. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Forward, young Muslims, wherever you are, in the shadow of the sun or by the light of a star, your supreme protector is Almighty Allah. Go forward, young Muslims, wherever you are. Go forward, young Muslims, whoever you are. Press forward and forward to the light of Allah, and repeat, Alhamdulillah. Go forward, young Muslims, whoever you are.